Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to the channel. It has been about a week now. I've been kind of busy, but I'm back. I'm back on this Halloween series, and today we are diving into the legendary Edward Scissorhands. Now, I gotta be honest. If there was like a scale of like worst to greatest villains, this would be like the worst villain there is. And he is a villain, I would say. He's definitely the antagonist of the show, but it's Jim. I don't know if you guys remember Jim from Edward Scissorhands, but he's interesting in the fact that he's just simply boring. I mean, he's your typical, he acts like he's just like a spoiled kid that lives in the suburbs, and he's used to getting, you know, everything he wants, and since he can't get what he wants, he just throws like a temper tantrum. That's literally all that he has to offer. He's not scary or anything. Like when I was kind of researching this video, I was looking into a lot of like Reddit threads and stuff like that, but it all goes back to Edward. Even though Edward isn't actually the villain of the movie, he is almost looked at as a villain for some people, even though he's like a sweetheart. It was really nice watching this movie because I haven't seen it literally since I was a child. So it felt really cool to watch it, especially since, you know, the holidays are, you know, right around the corner and whatnot. So that was fun. But even though Edward Scissorhands has all the ingredients of what you would think of when you think of a villain, right? You know, he had the scientist or whatever up on the castle, put him together. But he's just like this sweet, harmless, innocent young man. And then we have Jim. So this video might be shorter than what I thought because of the fact that there really isn't much on him. I mean, the stuff that I've found, like we're gonna go over some stuff right now, but it's not much. It's literally like there's no deeper theories about him or where he came from. He's just your typical teenager who again just can't get what he wants, and now he's just being angry. But anyways, this is the information that I have found on the web. So I'm on Antagonist Wiki, and right here under personality, we have violent, rude, hostile, impatient, hot-tempered, arrogant, cruel, cold, thuggish, argumentative, thieving, aggressive, greedy, deceitful, selfish, egotistical, jealous, obnoxious, abusive, mean, sly, pompous, I hope I said that right, I think I did, manipulative, sarcastic, and hateful. And I will say that he is all those things. When I was watching the movie, I'm like, this guy is, it's almost like what's your problem? Like, do you need a hug? That's kind of his vibe in this whole movie. But this is pretty much it. I mean, other than I saw what he looks like today. I'll show you guys right here. Anthony Michael Hall. This is his real name. This is what he looks like today. This is pretty much it. Let me see what else. You know what? Actually, you know what? I found something on Quora, so we're gonna go there. Oh, and this isn't even about Jim again. See, everything I have found has been about Edward. And this was what Edward Scissorhands have been a good villain. And then there are some things that people have said. Somebody said no, he was just too good. However, he would have been considered quite a potential threat to villains. A mad scientist created him, but if he was a dream creature, I would love to see them go up against Freddy Krueger, since they both have knife hands, and both against Wolverine. Oh, that'd be interesting. That'd be like a fun, cool like animation video that you could find on YouTube. I always see like really cool animators that do stuff on like Naruto and whatnot, like, you know, fan fights and stuff. I think that'd be pretty cool to see. But honestly, you guys, there's really not much on him. There's this when I typed him into Google, and then I read that he was, all I read is that he's just the main antagonist of Edward Scissorhands, and there's really not much to say, which is kind of, I wish there was more, because I'm like, my kind of thing is I wanted to attack certain villains or antagonists in movies and shows for this Halloween series I have, but I wanted to go after the ones that you don't see much of. Like in my last video, we did the Creeper, because I never see much of the Creeper, and the Creeper is really, really cool. But the thing is with the Creeper, there was a lot of information out there on him, like a lot of fan theories and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. But this guy, there's nothing. He's just boring. And again, everything whenever I look something up, it just goes right back to Edward Scissorhands. So I figure, you know what? I guess why not play with that a little bit? So even though this is kind of about Jim, we might as well go into a little about what people think of Edward Scissorhands. A lot of the theories or stuff that I've kind of browsed through have been a little bit ridiculous, but this is something, I guess it's kind of simple, and something I'd mentioned that I looked over. This person says, Edward Scissorhands, one thing I still don't get. Howdy. I rewatched Edward Scissorhands over the weekend and showed it to my 11-year-old boy for the first time. One thing I always wondered was Edward human in some way or a cyborg in some half-human thing? How did he not die or age all those years? He seemed to bleed blood when cut and scarred up. Any insight? Just off the top, I would say after rewatching it that I would view him as it's actually kind of hard to say now that I think about it because he really did bleed. It's almost like he was human, but he wasn't, but he was machine. He was like a combination of a lot of different things, almost like a cyborg. He was basically, Edward Scissorhands was basically a cyborg. Somebody says to give a lateral answer, I think it's important to be mindful that the 80s was full of magical realism films. This is also true. This movie came out in 1990, which means it was being filmed in the 80s. And it definitely still has a 80s feel to it. Like, as I was rewatching it, I was thinking to myself, like, wow, movies will never go back to, like, feeling like this. Like, yeah, some things are a little wonky because of the era, but there was also a lot of really cool things from film in that era. Definitely, like, the nostalgia and how they did their music and some shots. It was very nostalgic and really cool to see and feel since it's been so long since I watched a movie like that. Realism films, and they're a little different from straight up fantasy movies in the fact that a lot of the plots involve fantastic mysteries that aren't as important to the movies as the tone and emotional resonance. Edward Scissorhands is Edward Scissorhands. Whatever he's a robot or cyborg doesn't matter. He's something that is 1 inch away from being human that allows us to examine our humanity. So I said this is a really good answer, and it's something I wish more people in movies and YouTube critics would understand. Too many times I see people dredging up 80s movies and trying to overanalyze them or make certain points too literal/weird when it's just a magical realism. Yeah, it really was magical realism. I really enjoyed it because, again, I'm like, they don't even make movies like this anymore. You get a lot of, I don't know, I haven't watched a movie in a while. I'm lying. I just watched. I've been watching movies. I haven't watched anything, like, I haven't browsed Netflix or that. Like, a lot of that stuff hasn't been consuming my mind because of the fact that so many movies today, they aren't good. So I kind of just, like, I'm very choosy when it comes to my movies these days. I used to just browse Netflix and Hulu and try and find a movie, but I don't do that anymore, because it's kind of all the same. If I'm watching a movie today, it's because literally something has piqued my interest and I'm like, I'm going to watch that. I'm no longer just watching movies for the sake of watching movies like how I used to. It's just, I waste a lot of time and I'm literally just watching the same movie. Somebody said I always figured he's some kind of Frankenstein-like creation. Reanimated body parts, but with scissors for hands. Never really thought of it though. Guess that's to the credit of Tim Burton or Depp. What do you guys think of Tim Burton? I love Tim Burton. I recently seen something on Threads about him. Some people, I think this is ridiculous, but people getting mad that he doesn't use black characters. I'm like, I really don't care about any of that. I'm like, his movies are great. His aesthetic is great. I think a lot of people just get sensitive about stuff like that. But I really enjoy his movie. I want him to come out with something else. I don't know if he's planning on working on anything else, but something I would love to see, and I don't even know if Tim Burton had anything to do with this movie. Maybe he did. I'm assuming he did. But Coraline, I would like to see a live action Coraline. I think that'd be really cool. I am over the whole live action sequel prequel thing because people are just, Hollywood is literally just piggybacking off of what's it called, movies and stuff that already have a built-in fan base, which is why we don't get any more original stuff in like movies and whatnot anymore. But I would like to see a live action Coraline because Coraline is great. I think actually after mentioning this, I'll probably do a video on Coraline because I know there's a lot of stuff, a lot of theories on Coraline out there. So I'm definitely thinking about doing that one. But this is it, you guys. What do you guys think of Edward Scissorhands? Have you seen it? Are you planning on rewatching it? What do you think of Jim? He's literally like the worst antagonist/villain you could think of. Yep, this video isn't going to be that long. There's not much on him, but I thought it'd be fun to do. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Would appreciate it for my channel, and I will see you guys next time.